the killer and the killed rise up to be healed as two sides of the same idea. Now, Laurent and I actually had not been together very long at this point. Laurent, do you remember what day you came? It was like August 20-something, and here we are at August 30th, so it's not like we've been together 6 months or a year. We've been together a very short time. But notice the words killer and killed are being used. So, that may give you some idea of what our initial experience was like. Now, again, I speak from my perception, and Laurent, at any time, if you feel that you want to share yours, please do. If you feel mine is, good enough, then that's okay, because I am trying to share for both of us as much as I can. Our first experience, it seems like, although I was judging Laurent too, the more obvious outer appearance was him judging me. And I would say the reason that was the more obvious outer appearance, now that I look back on it, is because Laurent was more willing to say what was on his mind, and I kept my judgments more to myself. So if you were to have a camera in the room and you were filming what was occurring and trusting the appearance only without looking deeper, at the skin deep level, what you may have seen is Laurent, in one way or another, always telling me what was wrong with me and how I was not good enough. And then you may have seen me as the hurt little puppy, right? And again, this is the outer appearance only, because remember, I told you I was also judging him, and I really thought my Kansas simple values were much better than his fancy Parisian ones, okay? So let's not be fooled by appearances. But this was the initial appearance, okay? He was the bully. I was the victim, all right? And to a point, we were both bought into that. It wasn't just me that saw him as the bully. He saw him as the bully. And it wasn't just me that saw me as the victim. He also saw me playing the victim role, and he really hated it. He hated that I played that role. So again, we hadn't been together very long, but we were in what appeared to be a very difficult situation, so that the words killer and killed are very good words. They're very good words because they made us look at exactly the roles we were playing. And again, that's what we were doing. We were playing roles. And we really needed to look at the roles we were playing before we could begin to realize that's not what we are and release them. So again, together these fears, which we shall call masculine and feminine, the killer and the killed, rise up to be healed as two sides of the same idea. So initially, we may have seen, again, us as different, right? He was the killer. I was the killed. He was the victimizer. I was the victim, right? So Spirit is telling us we are not different. We are not different. Of course, you guys know that in the world, if the man is the bully and the woman is the victim, many people will gather on the woman's side of the story. Even other men will, right? Gather on the woman's side of the story. The poor victim is right, and the bully, right, is wrong. Spirit is saying this could not possibly be true. These are two sides of the same idea. If they're literally the same idea, if they are literally the same, how can one be better or worse than the other? And of course, this type of judgment has to be let go of, because if I feel more righteous as the victim, and I see him as wrong, he's bad, right? I am not going to look at my mind and heal. That feeling that I am more righteous, that I am more right, I'm the poor victim, is going to be an obstacle to my own healing. And believe it or not, the flip side of that is true. He was bought into the idea that he was the killer. He was bought into the idea that he was the bad one, that he was hate. And there was guilt in him for being this way. Okay? There was guilt in him. If he buys into that, I am hate, for example, that is an obstacle to his healing. So as long as we believe there's one that's more innocent and one that's more guilty, neither of us get to heal. Neither of us get to heal. Do you see? It doesn't even matter if we're both blaming the same one. My finger can point at him and his finger can point at him. But as long as we're in that blame and guilt game, neither of us get to heal. So Spirit wanted to help us see there was not a better or a worse here. This is the same. Killer and killed are the same. And I'll tell you, as we went further along with Spirit, I started seeing how I killed Laurent within my mind. Like I said, I wasn't as vocal about my judgments, but they were there and they were strong. And so eventually I came to see that I really wasn't just the killed, that I was also the killer. But I hadn't seen that yet when this particular message came. When this message came, I felt very much like the victim. And so Spirit is pointing to the fact that there is no difference between the victim and the victimizer. And yeah, I see Laurent saying yes, and I see Laurent saying same here. So you can tell that we were in this experience together.